Mr. Chairman. This amendment addresses the circumstances around the Trade Promotion Authority and later on perhaps the Trans-Pacific Partnership, but it also addresses any of our trade negotiations that might take place that would be funded under this bill. And the rationale is this, that there's been much concern about the negotiations with regard to Trade Promotion Authority in particular, enabling the discussion about immigration visas as being part of the trade negotiations. It's a long-standing pattern and practice of this Congress to assert our constitutional authority over immigration visas. And when our U.S. trade representative or other negotiators bring in negotiations that have to do with visas, it complicates our trade negotiations and puts us in a place where when we see a trade agreement come before us, perhaps it's under a Trade Promotion Authority that it would be negotiated, and this House votes on it, and then it may well have within it visa agreements that have been negotiated with multiple countries, and taking out of the hands of Congress to directly establish, although there's an indirect inference, but directly establish our immigration policy. A lot of the opposition to the trade negotiations that have been taking place in the Trans-Pacific Partnership have been about concerns that news reports that have come from places like Australia have pointed out that there are negotiations going on that have to do with visas. There was a circumstance several years ago under a previous administration where they had negotiated immigration provisions in a trade agreement, and even though it was a non-amendable trade agreement, we went before the Judiciary Committee and had a full hearing, and I offered 2 amendments that passed, and ultimately there were changes made in that agreement. And so there is a long history on this with me, and it has been an important issue to maintain the separation of immigration policy and the Congress from the executive branch negotiations in trade. That's what this amendment does. It says no immigrant visas will be negotiated in trade agreements, and that means all of them. And again, the Constitution enumerates this power to the Congress, not the executive branch. So I urge its adoption, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from